It is now 45 days, 7 hours, and about 15 minutes until the midterms. So let's take a look at where some high-stakes races stand. The Cook Political Report now says 31 House races are toss-ups. That's down from 34. So what happened? Well, 3 races moved from toss-up or likely Republican to likely Democrat. And these aren't just House races, by the way. I'm talking about the United States Congress. So some of these are Senate races. And one state that has seen some significant movement is Arizona. I want to welcome to our panel, actually, Kara Vaught. She is a political reporter for the Rolling Stone. And Jessica Post and our good friend Reed Galen are back with us. So let's talk about the Senate race in Arizona, folks. This race between Senator Mark Kelly and Blake Masters, it recently shifted to leaning Democrat by the Cook Political Report. Now, earlier this week, or even today, frankly, the state's 15-week abortion ban was supposed to go into effect. But a judge ruled yesterday that a near total abortion ban that was written before Arizona even became a state, it should actually take precedence and go into effect instead. Kara, we've heard a lot about this issue of women's reproductive autonomy. Now you've got Arizona wading into this fight. Do you think that this is one of the reasons, if not the reason, why we're seeing this shift to support of Democrats in these races?
I think it certainly is playing a pretty big role. You know, voters in Arizona are about to get a visceral experience of what it's like to live without the right to abortion. We know that Blake Masters, the Senate candidate there, had a very extreme position on abortion rights. You know, it's very anti-abortion. Prior to winning his primary, he's since pivoted, but you know, people don't forget that easily. Kari Lake, the gubernatorial candidate there, has been very murky on her position on abortion, but she has called it the ultimate sin. And certainly those extremist positions are definitely not, you know, where most of the country is on abortion.
I mean, it definitely will. It is something to watch. And I think that this is playing out not just in Arizona, but we could even take a look at Wisconsin. You've got Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. He is a Democrat. He is vying to become the state's first black senator. Recent polling in this race looks actually good for Barnes. Very tight, though, very close. I know that 538 had an article up the other day that talked about the fact that polling looks good for Democrats, but we need more of it because what are the real numbers? Now, the National Republican Senatorial Committee has 2 ads up in the state. Their ads are not about abortion, actually, even though I think that's something that Lieutenant Governor Barnes would like to be talking about. I think these ads, in my opinion, they mischaracterize Lieutenant Governor Barnes' views on crime and social justice. But what is most disturbing, I think, is some of these mailers out there. I want to put this up on the screen for folks. The Johnson campaign sent out a mailer calling Lieutenant Governor Barnes a radical leftist. It has this picture. It's the one on the left. The original photo of Barnes is actually the one on the right. I think we can all spot the difference, okay? And the one on the left, Lieutenant Governor Barnes, his skin has been darkened and it looks a little more sinister. Reed, what is going on? What's going on with our Republican friends in Wisconsin?
Well, this goes back to what we've seen for 50 or 60 years. Lee Atwater, who famously said in the 50s you could say the N-word, in the 60s you couldn't, in the 70s you had to come up with something else, in the 80s it was welfare queen, and now it's critical race theory. The bottom line, Simone, is, you know what, they're trying their best, whether or not it's on race, education, culture, to scare suburban white voters. That's all this is about. They know that those people, especially women, as you were talking about just a minute ago, are bleeding away from the Republican Party or turned off by the Republican Party. And so now they're going to go back to their old tricks. This is all they've got. Scare the white people. That is the plan.
This it's so sinister. You know, Jessica, there are House races. There are state legislative races on the ballot in Wisconsin. We are just not only seeing this issue of crime, because that's what folks are couching it under. It's couched under the issue of crime, but then you get ads like the ads that the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee has in Wisconsin. And then you get these mailers. Are your folks seeing this on the ground, Jessica?
Yes, and I said we're seeing it on the ground all across the country. In fact, just last week, we saw a stock image of hands in an ad against one of our state legislative candidates, and the stock image had been darkened. So they've like thrown away the dog whistle, and they're just using sort of a racist style megaphone to mobilize their voters. The other thing is, I think the Republicans just don't know how to talk about what is the mobilizing issue of this election, which is abortion. In Arizona, you're saying they're debating between a bill that started in the Civil War era and a current abortion ban that's 15 weeks. Either way, women will die. So I think they're just using all their old tricks.
Kara, Jessica mentioned the issue of abortion, and it's where we started this conversation. In Michigan, you have the Republican candidate for, I believe it's the AG Republican candidate, who was caught on a hot mic. First, he did. We don't even have time to play the sound for you, but basically, he's on this hot mic, and he's asked about Plan B, and he says, "What is that?" So then it's explained to him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, we got to ban it at the border like fentanyl." If I was still a strategist, and I've never been a Republican strategist, but I know some, this does not seem like good politics. What is going on? How is this playing out in the state?
This is really interesting. After so many Republican primaries, we saw candidates who had pretty extreme positions on the issue walk them back. And Matt DePerno has not been one of those Republicans. I actually had the chance to speak with him when I was in Michigan last month. And I asked him if he intended to uphold the 1931 ban if it was on the books when he took office. If he took office, he said yes. He also said that county prosecutors in Michigan should be enforcing the 1931 law, which, as I think many of us know, are currently not being enforced thanks to temporary injunction. But yeah, this is really something that is really unprecedented for a candidate.
Unprecedented, to say the least. Kara Vaught, Jessica Post, and Reed Galen, thank you all very, very much.